Today on Budget Build Garage, we adjust the valves to put the intake back on this thing. That's where I'm at. Let's clock it there. This guy's pretty much ready to go. I need to grind off a couple of these. I need to grind off this one. And I want to grind off this one. This one. And this one. Let me show you why. It'll be easier to see right here. So these washers are like the smallest I could find, but they are still butting up against the casting. So we're just gonna grind a tiny bit away until they fit right. So yeah, it wants you to silicone up the head and the gasket itself. That's kind of crazy. And then it says, even though it comes with this cool silicone here, the directions say to use more silicone around the water jackets. And I'm not saying that's like seriously? But like, seriously? Like, isn't that the whole point of this gasket? Whatever, though. Alright, well, let's do the smart thing and give it a quick test fit. He should go just like that. So that's how that'll go. Man, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. No, I just mean I'm gonna have to zip tie that up better. Alright, I just want to make sure that we're gravy. Yeah, I'm getting pinched. That hurts.
Ouch. Looks beautiful. I'm done.
Yeah.
Turn it on.
It's basically installed, huh? Okay, so we have we have a gasket maker basically. They call it gasket maker. You can make it as a gasket. That's what we're going to use. A lot of times you can put a dab on it here, you know, on one of these just to kind of hold it in place, which makes it a lot easier to line up your intake or really anything. We're using an ultra black. We're going to use this to run a bead all the way across here on the front and the back. That way you get a nice tight seal on everything. The black is good. It's oil resistant. It's awesome. I love it. Now, a lot of people, I usually don't do this, but a lot of people will want to put something on the threads of the intake manifold bolts so you don't get oil coming up through them, you don't get coolant coming up through them. If you're going to do something like that, you want to use something like the number 2 non-hardening. You need a non-hardening one. This is kind of similar to what would be on like a standard head bolt or what would come from the factory on the intake bolts. Do not use this stuff on intake manifold bolts. Don't do it. If you're going to use something, use this. If you're going to use it, you only need a tiny bit on the first couple of threads. It'll work through. That's all. Well, since I talked about it, I guess I'll use it. I usually don't, but okay. So what you're going to do, let's get super messy with it. But it wants a bit around the water jackets, which makes sense. If they're going to leak, that's probably where it's going to be. You can start off with a little bead like that. You're not really going to use anywhere near that much. That'll probably be enough for like the whole thing. But this will actually help it stay in place as well when you're trying to set the intake manifold on it. I also like to put a little bit just here, just like that. Nothing crazy. That will just help hold the gasket in place. See, I just kind of put a spot there and there. Those aren't places you're really worried about sealing up. It's just a lot easier. The gasket will stay where it needs to stay when you're trying to set the intake manifold on it. It takes a few minutes for it to start getting tacky, so you don't have to like go super fast. You don't need to worry about that. We'll be alright. We're going to run that bead, like I was saying. Nice, big, thick one. Don't worry about using too much here. Go ahead and like glob it on, but try and do it evenly. Because if you use too much, it will just squeeze out. Once it hardens, you can just cut it off with a razor. Starting to get tacky, which is good, so it'll hold this in place. See, that's what we want. You see how it's out, sticking out on both sides? A little bit around the gasket, so that's good. Let's see if I can get it on straight. First try. That sat on nicely.
It's sliding.
Yeah, it'll be okay. Alright, so this is what I was talking about before. A little bit of this. I mean, like, just a tiny bit. Like that will do it. Now we're going to start tightening this thing down. There is a torque sequence actually. It's start at the center and basically work your way out. So you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I can probably pull up a picture pretty quick, but I want to get it at least started, and then we'll torque it down before it starts getting too set. Cool. Maybe be able to find it. So that is the torque sequence on these. Oh, and doing a couple passes, don't just torque it like that. So tighten everything a little bit here. Alright, so that's on. Everything went on pretty easily. It's kind of nice. I liked it. Here's the problem now. The RTV has a 24-hour cure time before you want to hit it with any fluid. So we're still going to drop the distributor and everything. We're still going to put the valve covers on, but unfortunately we won't be able to run it up till tomorrow. So I think we'll do a separate video on how to do the actual timing then. If you liked what you saw, or you didn't, or either way, let me know. If you didn't like the way I set the valves, let me know which way you like better. I'll do a video on that one too. Like I said, there's like 10 different ways to do this. Everybody has a different way. Everyone has a way they like. That's the one I like. I think it works. If it doesn't, you'll see it on the next video when we fire it up. Everything else, man, like, subscribe, drop a comment. I'll respond. Take it easy.